This is Randy Bell with the Courier Podcast, the place to come for the latest Clinton news. A piece of Clinton history is still waiting for a new identity. Tim Parkman envisioned opening a restaurant called Chilton's in Old Town last year, but the work to restore that 150-year-old property has taken longer than expected.
The first objective was to save the buildings, and we've done that.
When the project began a couple of years ago, the roof of the old Chilton store at the northeast corner of Leek and Jefferson Streets was falling in. The building Parkman owns next door on West Leek, connected to Chilton's by a brick archway, was in bad shape too. But using a careful and historically sensitive approach, the two buildings have been brought back from the brink, and the final renovation touches have been added, the floors finished and plumbing fixtures installed. And although it's only a shell of a restaurant now, Chilton's has already welcomed its first guests at a recent event catered by 303 Jefferson, another of Parkman's Old Town properties. But Chilton's future is uncertain.
Really what we need to do is sit back and study what is the most feasible and best use of this property. Because it's a precious piece of property. We want to use it the best way we can.
His original vision was a barbecue restaurant with a sports bar feel, featuring entertainment and a speakeasy-type tavern located downstairs.
That's what I would like to see, but, my concept of Chilton's may not fit the market right now, and we're not going to do it if it doesn't make sense.
Continuing to use the property as an event venue, at least temporarily, is a possibility. Parkman says 303 Jefferson occasionally gets requests to rent out the entire restaurant.
We're reluctant to do that because it'll disrupt the normal people and patrons that come in, and we don't want to give our customers a bad experience.
But he says they would like to accommodate those who need space for an event.
And so this may be a venue that would allow 303 to capture more of that type business while we figure out what is the best use long-term for this building.
Parkman says there are several non-restaurant options.
We could segment it into perhaps a deli and then a bookstore, library, both upstairs, and then have another income component, which would be the speakeasy downstairs.
And at this point, there's no way to predict whether the name would survive as part of a future business operating in the footprint of the old Chilton store. Parkman says he might wind up with a partner with different ideas about branding. But the historic property, whatever it winds up being called, is secure.
It's preserved now, and hopefully it'll be here for another 150 years.
I'm Randy Bell.